Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast. I don't think I'm going to talk too long on this one, but definitely had to share a quick couple of thoughts in terms of college football, but not the college football playoff. That one is coming. Going to talk some Deion Sanders, but before we get to that, you know what you got to do. Click that notification bell, that subscribe, that like. Probably said that out of order, but that's cool. You know what it is. It helps us find more subscribers, helps more subscribers find us, helps you stay on top of when the new episodes are coming out. If you want the audio only version of the show, go to your audio podcast platform, do a little search, the Format Podcast. We should come up. Please give us that 5-star review and leave us a comment both here on YouTube and on your audio podcast platform. Helps us rise in the algorithm. Really do appreciate it. Now let's get to it. All right. Deion Sanders, one of the flashiest, most flamboyant, and best players in NFL history, one of the greatest athletes in professional sports history of the United States of America, is no longer with the Jackson State football program. We're all aware of that. He is now head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, and that move is gathering a lot of consternation from a lot of people, unfortunately, mostly African American. And I've been giving some thoughts to this and kind of hearing where different people stand on it. And one of the issues is, why can't African Americans be happy for other African Americans when they're having success? Why should he have moved on from Jackson State? He was doing great things there. And so I look at this pretty simply, right? I'm a simple guy. I like to really break things down to the nitty gritty and just try to look at it from a logical perspective. Now, Deion Sanders clearly has always wanted to be a head coach. Part of why he didn't start out in the NFL, he's like, I know more, obviously being a Hall of Fame and arguably the greatest defensive back who ever played. I have my own issues on whether or not he is flat out or not. Maybe I take Rod Woodson, who was an elite corner for many years and safety. But anyway, there's some other elite shutdown corners we can talk about. But anyway, so he's saying, why should I go and have to work under, people who don't know as much as me? And I kind of get that, but there's something to the paying your dues and all that. But anyway, he takes the head coaching job at Jackson State and HBCU. And for those of you who don't know what that is a historically black college and university. And within 3 years, he makes them 2-time SWAC, Southwestern Athletic Conference champion. He has totally changed the profile, at least for the time being, of HBCUs in college football. Raised the profile, gotten more corporate sponsors involved with them at the very least at Jackson State, has gotten an ESPN deal for HBCUs, I think a 9 or 10 year deal worth $120 million. Obviously that's not as huge a deal as it is for, say the Big 12, who's getting the Big 10, who's getting billions, or the SEC, hundreds of millions, what have you. But it was a huge step in the right direction for programs that have consistently throughout history put out some all-time great players, but haven't necessarily gotten the attention. He has gotten, last year he got the #1 overall recruit. I believe his name is Travis Hunter. He flipped him from Florida State, coincidentally, Deion's own alma mater, and got him to go to Jackson State. Hunter may or may not go over to Colorado with him. But the point here is he immensely raised the profile of HBCUs, HBCU athletes, got some more money flowing into them now. HBCUs still need a lot of help. They are grossly underfunded. I was just looking at a Forbes story about that yesterday, but that's a topic for a different show. But the point is, when he arrived there, one of the things he said, he really made great points about bringing attention to those colleges and universities and showing that they have a lot of great young men, and that trying to raise the profile. And because a few years ago, there were no players drafted to the NFL from HBCUs. And if you watch this show, you know me, I have railed consistently about the groupthink in scouting and recruiting in terms of when in doubt, just go to the SEC or maybe the Big 10. And then, so many players who may be outstanding, but from smaller colleges or smaller conferences, not getting the attention and not getting the opportunity because of lazy and shoddy scouting work, okay, or groupthink in the general manager rooms at these NFL programs. So Deion arrived at Jackson State swearing to improve that, and to some extent he has. Now, he's moved on to Colorado, and a lot of people are upset about that because they're saying, hey, he could have done more. Why didn't he do more? Why didn't he stay longer, etc.? And I can kind of see both sides of the coin. And realistically, the reason why so many people are upset is because of the hoopla that he made when he arrived there about what his plans were and what he intended to do. And if we're being honest, without his ultramagnetic presence at Jackson State, program will likely take a step back. The attention HBCUs in football and on the whole receive may likely step back. I mean, that's just kind of the way of reality. When you have that less charismatic leader as the forefront and as the face, the attention is going to wane. And I guarantee you, the Colorado Buffaloes program, which was 1-11 last year, that attention is going to increase tenfold. Now, I'm not upset at Deion because his goal is to be a coach, and Deion is a competitor and he is a winner at every step and everything he's ever done in his life. Totally get that. So what does he want? He wants a bigger challenge now. He's moved to the Power 5. He's taken a program that was just lounging in failure, abject failure. Quick note. We know that there's a dearth of African-American head football coaches, both in the NFL and both in college. I think there are less than 15 out of 130 Division I FBS college football programs, okay? So that's terrible for a sport that's roughly 70% black. Colorado, interestingly enough, has now hired 3 African-American head coaches in a row. That's unusual, but it's good to see. It's progress. Now, I'm not the guy. If you know me personally, you know I'm not the guy in any sense of the word who's going to say hire someone just because they're black. But the fact that they're open enough at Colorado to give guys an opportunity and hire them on what they could believe are the merits, it says a whole lot. Anyway, so we've got Deion Sanders. He heads over to Colorado. He will likely be taking a number of transfers. He already said, he told the Colorado Buffaloes players in his opening briefing that he's bringing some dogs with him and they're going to hunt and they're going to eat, and basically let some guys know that, you're not going to make it. When I was in Army basic training, one of the things we used to say was somebody ain't going to make it. We used to say that a lot because at the end of the day, it's a weeding out process and some people aren't going to make it. But yeah, anyway, back to the point. Deion Sanders getting this opportunity at a Power 5 job, and it actually seems to coincide quite well with the fact that after the coming season, USC and UCLA will be leaving the Pac-12 for the Big Ten. So that should definitely open some doors, possibly in terms of recruiting, maybe for guys who want to be closer to home. Obviously, Lincoln Riley and USC and their collectives and their NIL and UCLA and all the money they have, that's going to help a great deal. But a guy like Deion, we've seen Deion is a needle mover in terms of recruiting. We're going to see in the transfer portal this year, we're going to see in terms of how recruiting has changed, because now people who wouldn't even have taken a visit to Colorado, they're going to take that visit. And once Deion gets them in the room, he may well be able to hook them. So we're definitely going to see what he can do with the Buffaloes. I totally understand why he made this move. I'm not upset at him for making it. I get it if you are HBCU alum or if you have some connection to those programs, why you might feel upset, why you might feel slighted, especially given his comments when he first took the job at Jackson State. But I think he had gotten to the point where he could kind of do what he could do. He had reached the ceiling, and now he also has to do what's best for himself and his family, and he has to feed his own competitive juices. Quick note, happy for him he took the Colorado job. Can't for the life of me figure out why Georgia Tech didn't hire him. We know, obviously, that he was a star when he first came into he was a star his whole time in the league, but when he first came into the league with the Atlanta Falcons, and there's a lot of football fans in that area who probably grew up watching Deion and who have sons who are going to play Division I football, who would have loved to send their sons to Georgia Tech to go and play for Deion. We know that Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, that area there is one of the most fertile recruiting grounds in the country, right? So you have that SEC footprint that Deion really would have changed the narrative on. He would have taken a lot of recruits from Clemson. He would have taken a lot of recruits from Georgia. He would have taken a lot of recruits from the Florida schools. I can't for the life of me figure out why Georgia Tech did not go ahead and really give Deion a shot, because I think he would have breathed a tremendous amount of life into that program, especially there in the Atlanta area. Again, he's familiar with it. He played there. He lived there. People are familiar with him. They love him. The high media profile in such an area, he would have just been an amazing, amazing fit. But hey, I don't know what's in these guys' heads. I don't know why they make the moves that they make. Anyway, what I want to do, that ran a little longer than expected. What I want from you is to give me your thoughts on how you feel about Deion leaving Jackson State and moving on to Colorado, what you think is going to be the end result of his tenure at Colorado, how successful he will or won't be. And yeah, that's what I got. Thanks so much for joining me. Make sure you click that subscribe, that like, and that notification bell. And I'm out. Peace.